Yo, what's going on, guys? It's the boy Fooly, and I'm bringing you guys another video right here on Black Ops Cold War. Today we're going to be talking about something that I think is both good and bad. We're going to be talking about remakes and remastered maps and whether or not they should keep adding them specifically to Cold War. But before we get into that, make sure to leave a like on this video and subscribe if you haven't already. We're getting closer and closer to 500 subscribers, which is absolutely insane, so go ahead and do that, and let's get right into it. So unless you've been living under a rock for the last couple of weeks, then you should know that in a couple of days, Treyarch is adding Express from Black Ops 2 in a Black Ops Cold War. And the reason I didn't make this video any sooner was actually because I was okay with this. I was okay with Express being remade because I thought it was a map that was actually really good in Black Ops 2, and I'm actually excited for it to return. But then I remembered how many rumored remastered maps there were supposed to be in Black Ops Cold War whenever that rumor came out back in the beginning of launch. And then the cherry on top to this is the rumor of Vertigo, a Black Ops 2 DLC map, returning as another DLC map. And ultimately, I'm left with a pretty conflicting thought of whether or not remastered maps are good for Call of Duty or not. In this game, I could tell you they're 50-50. I feel like right now, the way that Cold War launched, I think having some remastered maps can only help. In any other situation, I think having this many remastered maps and rumored remastered maps is actually really bad for the game. Now, I think it's possible that we never see any of the rumored remastered maps, kind of like in Modern Cockhair 2019. Dome was rumored, and Terminal was rumored, and High Rise was rumored, and it just never came out, at least not in its life cycle. You know, at the end of the day, if you're gonna launch a game with 8 very dull maps, then yeah, go ahead, get a couple remasters. Now, when they start taking it a little too far is when they start doing things like bringing back Nuketown for the 5th time, bringing back Summit, and then ultimately bringing back maps that literally nobody has ever asked for. So Vertigo, while that is interesting, I do find it quite interesting that that is the map of their choice that they would decide to remaster. And right now it's just a rumor, it's not confirmed. But if that ends up being the remastered map that returns to COD, that's really odd, because I have never in my entire existence playing COD have ever heard anybody even whisper the thought of having Vertigo, the Black Ops 2 DLC map, being returned for Black Ops Cold War. That's just something that never crossed my mind. In Black Ops 4, whenever they brought back Jungle, I was so utterly confused because they labeled it a fan favorite. I don't know about you guys, I never want to see Jungle ever again. It was cool the first time, but never again. And you know, there's a couple of maps in the Black Ops series that a lot of fans have been asking for. Maps like Radiation, maps like Launch, maps like Grid especially. I would love if Grid came back. Now, personally, I see both sides of the argument here. I see the side where people are saying when you add remastered maps, there's a lack of originality in the game. We're not gonna lie to ourselves, alright? The launch maps in Modern Cockhair 29 were a fat bag of horse dicks with sauce. And honestly, in my opinion, very early on, if we got Terminal remade and High Rise remade, I think that game would have been much better, especially towards the beginning of launch. Now, this game really saved itself by adding Nuketown right away and by adding Raid and then announcing Express very early on. Now, the argument about a lack of originality is 100% true in my opinion. Personally, I view the addition of remastered maps as a get out of jail free card, in my opinion. Now, I'm not a map designer, I'm not a game developer, but I'll tell you what, if somebody came up to me and was like, hey, this is the map that I want to use in our game to launch the game, and they showed me Cartel, I would pimp slap the dog shit out of them. Now, just because Cartel is a pile of ass doesn't mean, you know what, now I gotta add Nuketown and Raid to this game to make it good. Just make good maps. Make good maps, and you don't need to recycle other maps. It's really simple in my opinion. Oh, great. This game f***ing sucks. Now, I do have one idea that I think might be able to work, especially with the way that content and maps have been released over the last 2 years. So I think for every single season from here on out, going into the next CODs and going for the rest of this title, every season should include 3 to 4 more maps added into Cold War. Alright? And of the 3 to 4 maps, 1 to 2 of them should be remakes. And of the 1 to 2 remakes, depending on how you cut it down, I think we should be able to vote on which map we want remastered and added into Cold War. Now, you can do this via Twitter, social media, on Instagram, on the Call of Duty subreddit. You can do this on callofduty.com or whatever it is, on Charlie Intel. I think for me, what would be my most preferred way is if you just add it to the start screen of the game. Kind of like how we have the message of the day and nobody looks at it or reads it or ever talks about it, just add a quick poll to it. Put a list of 2 to 3, maybe even 4 maps and see which one is the most popular one. I guarantee you, if you were to put grid in there, grid would win one of them. If you were to put radiation in another one, there's a good chance that would win. I think this is a great way for the devs to connect with the community, and it's a good way for the community to maybe stop looking at the devs and being like, yeah, these guys all suck, even though that's pretty much the truth. But maybe this is going to give the community more faith in the devs, and I think that's kind of something that these last few Call of Duties have been missing. It's as simple as just adding a poll about which remastered map they would like to see in the next update. Now, I don't see Treyarch or Infinity Ward really making another good classic map anytime soon. Alright, if they're gonna continue treading on the way of Cartel in Cold War and a map like Ramaza or Ass Hair Cave in Modern Warfare, then we're probably gonna end up seeing a lot of remastered maps here. Truly, I hope we can get really incredible maps like BO1 classic maps added into Cold War before its life cycle is starting to die, and right now it's already starting to die. So let me know what you guys think on that possible idea. I think it would personally be very, very good for the community and very good for the devs. Let me know what you guys think about remastered maps and whether or not they're good or bad for the franchise. I think they are okay, 50-50. Leave a like on this video and subscribe if you haven't already. It's been the boy Fooly, guys. I'll catch you guys next time. Toodaloo!
It's been a very